guys, it is Countess. Back with another video for you guys. I hope it finds you well wherever you are in the world, in whatever time of day or night or morning it is. So we're back with another video to kind of take another look at some footnotes from the memoirs of Billy Shears. I want to stay on that track because it's fascinating. Like, I learn something new every time I open this book, and I've read this book quite a few times. Like, it's just, I find something new or something that I, might have overlooked previously. It's really cool. And these footnotes that I'm going to go over, I opened up the book to one of them, and it was a total validation of the videos that I have made. The last 3 videos I've made, these footnotes that we're going to go over, they're validations of all of this stuff about the world agenda and how the world agenda is being twisted and perverted by the Luciferian doctrine. Things are getting shifted upside down. It's all about duality and trying to make the world the one. And we discussed that in the last video about alchemy and the Luciferian doctrine. It always comes back to the one, the self, the self-will. And yeah, it's just like these days, it feels like the quote-unquote awake people are, the minorities basically in the world, because people are programmed and brainwashed through media and news, especially news. We have freaking 10 channels of different news stations, that people can plug into and get their, quote unquote, real news versus, fake news, whatever the hell fake news is. I think that's, again, it's another concept of duality. Wow. Okay. Anyway, getting off track. So we just got to get this information out. It's scary, and it's something that people need to be aware of, because again, knowledge is power. Knowledge about what's going on allows you to look at your own life and strategize what you want in your space and what you're going to do if and when something comes down to, I don't know, who knows what the future holds, right? I do read tarot cards, but I am not a fortune teller, so that's all I gotta say. So we're just being told all of these great things in the memoirs, and I just want to go over 3 footnotes that I find actually back up all the information that I said and talked about in the last video. So if you're interested, come on the journey with me, and let's get into the book. So I want to look at page 261. And pardon me, I'm getting one of those frogs in my throat, so excuse me if I do clear my throat while I'm talking. So page 261, this footnote, again, the numerology reduces to the number 9. 2 plus 6 plus 1 equals 9. And 9 is a number of a sort of, it represents like a completion in a life cycle. So, and it also represents Paul in this book. And yeah, so a lot of numerology plays a very important part in this book, and you really do have to look at it. All the footnotes are on significant numerological numbers, and I just think that's fascinating too, that Tom was able to even do that. He's just like a genius. You can see that I did highlight the emboldened words, which are the real truths, are in this so-called novel. Yes, they are. And we're going to kind of dig into those because we need to. So let's take a look at it. It starts, William says, "Look to this fiction for fact, and to my fact for fiction." That was a line that I read from my video, The Memoirs of Paul McCartney. When I was reading the introduction, that quote was used. Just a little sidebar note. Let's continue. What he is saying specifically about his own disclosure is also true of how the globalists work generally. Since time immemorial, the greatest manipulations have occurred by presenting fiction as nonfiction, and by presenting fact as fantasy. That perceived distinction always fools most people. The most absurd stories are seen as real merely because they are in newspapers, on televised news, or on websites that pretend to be truthful, even when those news outlets are controlled by those with incentives to promulgate the most dangerous lies. Wow. Oh my goodness. And that is, it just goes back to fiction versus nonfiction. Duality. Oh my God. It's a reoccurring theme everywhere. And once you start to see it, you just cannot unsee it. And yeah, that is just crazy. And it's so true. And I did a video, Are You in Control of Your Mind? And that was totally like, they hypnotize you. They hypnotize people with the television, with the Black Mirror. That is a occult. Well, it's like a witchcraft kind of thing, the Black Mirror. I don't know too much information on that, but if anybody does, leave it in the comments, or I might do a little bit of digging on that myself here later on. But just to go on, yeah, television, news, the websites, YouTubers who, say, I guess they say they know everything, I'm not saying that at all. I don't know everything. It's and then they present the fake news and the conspiracy theorists, make those people look like quacks and nutters and just totally disregard what they're saying, even though there is logic, evidence, and truth to back up our claims. And yeah, it's an inversion, and that is what they are totally going for, is to invert society. And they are doing it with that hypnotizing. I digress, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's continue. The most trusted fact-checking websites or television programs go to great expense to maintain their reputation, and may be useful to check on some urban legends or on threats of computer viruses. However, providing many true statements for each deception, along with disproving false rumors, they also claim to debunk a trigger word that makes people believe them. Proof of scams perpetrated and upheld by specific treacherous corporations. Yes, and that's just what I was talking about. They fake news, or, it's, oh my goodness. It's to debunk something. Oh, I'm a fact checker. Oh, wow. It's like, give me a break, right? Fact checkers. Yeah, sure. It's like, that's a joke. Okay. And then the last one. The reverse is also true. Fictional formats, such as movies or novels, can condition the public to think in particular ways about events that are actually planned. Predictive programming. Sometimes directors or writers are tipped off of sufficiently to include. I'm sorry, I think I misread that. Sometimes directors or writers are tipped off sufficiently to include specific details in order to add those ideas to the collective consciousness, whether the purpose is to instill subconscious dread or acceptance. This foreshadowing technique is especially useful. Using fiction to plant ideas in advance allows directors and writers to program how viewers and readers respond to each issue as the programming is activated by real-life events. Yes, predictive programming, guys. I'm just like blown away by this information. It is fucking scary. That's all I'm going to say. Excuse my language, but wow. It's programming and hypnotism and brainwashing, and it's disgusting. Okay, so let's flip over. I just don't want to take forever on this video, because I tend to digress a bit. Okay, so the next footnote I want to talk about is on page, not too far away. It's on page 273. And of course, we'll do the numerology. Number 3 is a perfect, it is 2 plus 7 plus 3. That is 2 plus 7 is 9. 9 plus 3 is 12. 1 plus 2 equals 3. So things are always in 3s, 6s, and 9s with Billy. And yeah, I just find that really interesting. It's like it represents the full life cycle, birth, life, and death. The past, the present, and the future, or the beginning, the middle, and the end. That's what the number 3 represents. It's like a completion. It's the number of the divine, I believe. And that's what they say. It's the most perfect number. It is what everything reduces back to, I believe, is what I've read. It is the number of the divine. So, on this little footnote, it's quite long, but, it's very interesting. Let's see. I highlighted the emboldened words on this page, and that's the Donovan chapter. But the emboldened words are, I get high. So let us go down to the note. The line, I get high with a little help from my friends, predictably resulted in the BBC banning the song for its drug reference. With that same concern, the BBC also banned on that same Sgt. Pepper's album, Fixing a Hole, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, and A Day in the Life. As premeditated, the cooperating media helped the world contemplate the government attempting to block the Beatles from encouraging drug use. Naturally, after fans' initial shock of being told that their idols encouraged drug use, most Beatle fans sided with the band, objecting to those who would prevent Beatles' airplay. With that media and government support, many people tried drugs because of the strong celebrity endorsement. Publicly from the band also boosted album sales. So yeah, guys, that is it is crazy. We'll just keep going. I don't want to get off track. So the next one, when choosing sides between a conservative government and the drug culture, even those with no interest in drugs are generally more inclined to stand with their rock icons than those who would repress them. Consciously and subconsciously, the reception of Sgt. Pepper's, millions of people across the globe suddenly opposed those who opposed drugs. Wow. It's like the ultimate head trip right there. Banning those 4 songs placed the Beatles at the top of the drug-favoring counterculture. Although the Beatles were already bigger than life ever since their first engineered hit. There you go. Mike Williams with the Beatles. Did the Beatles write all their own music? That video is fantastic. That presentation, wow. Yeah, right there. We're being told you have to look at the words that are being used. Anyways, okay, I digress. Let's keep going. Where was I? Their engineered hits. The government's intervention against their music made them unimaginably larger to the world. It also created division between fans and the government, siding with the Beatles, now against the state. Many fans took drugs as their initiation into the Beatles' counterculture. Oh my goodness. You know, it is, again, it's duality, it's division, it is flipping things around and doing it with a subtle manipulation. The boiling frog syndrome. It is crazy how sensitive the human mind is and how things like music and media can change our minds so quickly. It's a trip. William recycled the phrase, "I get high," from "I Want to Hold Your Hand," which was one of the first of many songs written for the Beatles. One of the many songs written for the Beatles. Oh my God, there you go again. And credited to Lennon McCartney. At the start, protecting their wholesome starter image and keeping the song from being banned by the BBC, the phrase was muffled by a light overdub of the phrase, "I can't hide." Many who did not know the official lyrics misheard the true lyrics. Others received that covert drug reference as a subliminal programming that would not be activated until the Beatles overtly repeated that message. As Billy Pepper and the Pepper Pots recorded "I Want to Hold Your Hand" in Mercy Mania in 1964, the lines are, "It's such a feeling that my love, I got high, I got high, I got high." Like I said, I have to sing it when I see those lyrics. When confronted with the rumor that Billy Shepherd and Jimmy Frazier wrote I Want to Hold Your Hand, and that the Pepper Potts originally recorded it to help George Martin teach it to the Beatles, Williams said. That's an early Lennon-McCartney song. George's change in the lyrics from I got high to I get high made the song more present. He also made their other improvements. That's the way with George. Whatever he worked on, he made better. This is all about social programming and the engineering of a agenda and subtly manipulating us to accept it. Just like that Huxley quote that men and women will learn to love their servitude and never dream of rebellion or something like that. It's so crazy. And again, this information needs to be out there. And I really hope that it's okay that I'm sharing these footnotes, on my channel. But again, they start so many conversations. They start so many ideas and thoughts in one's head. And this stuff is definitely information that is true, and we need to pay attention to it. Right there, we were told that the Beatles, in the early days at least, did not write their own music. Totally engineered, totally fake. I am a phony, right? Oh my goodness, guys. Okay, so the last one I have, the last footnote I want to go over today, it's still in the Donovan chapter. We've just stuck to the Donovan chapter, I guess. I just realized that. So the emboldened words on this page, it's page 280. I'm sorry, I didn't even say the page number. 280. Where the emboldened words, Donovan had his quote-unquote butterfly. So let's look at the numerology there. 2 plus 8 plus 0 equals 10. 1 plus 0 equals 1. So 1 is, again, wholeness and completion. No, I'm sorry. It's like the beginning of something. I'm sorry, I got confused. It's a divine number as well, and it means the start of something. So let's check out this footnote here. All right. The butterfly, especially the monarch, also symbolizes the trauma-based mind control system used to break and reprogram William, and the worst trauma occurred at 3 years old. To those who invested in him, his disassociation assured lifelong compliance. The sadistic occult ritual, adapted from a German method, guaranteed unwavering dedication to his work. William's childhood traumas put his life and work into perspective. It explains why he has been so extraordinarily driven since his program was fully activated to be Paul McCartney, the world's greatest superstar. It is natural for readers to be put off by William's obsessive compulsion to prove that he was not only the best Paul McCartney, but also the greatest superstar of all time. However, that was his specific trauma-based programming. By identifying with that role that was so sadistically programmed into him, William's very existence desperately requires that program to be true. It is not as though he would receive external punishment for failing to fulfill that role. The tormenting punisher is entirely internal, as an integral part of his program. Failing would trigger severe depression. He must be the best and prove it. Oh my goodness. I don't even know what to like. So sad. I really, wow. Sadistic occult rituals. I can only like limitly think of the things that happened to him. If you look into SRA, satanic ritual abuse, and it does it, and that's what causes dissociative personality disorder in people. It used to be called multiple personality disorder, but the dissociation happens during trauma, and it's a way for the person to escape what's going on in the present. They escape by creating another personality, basically, that can handle the trauma, that can handle the pain. And it's so sad. And it just makes me sympathize with Billy all the more. Wow, this is a lot of heavy information. So, to continue. In the memoirs, William often laments the heavy burden of living as Paul. From an outsider's view, it is inconceivable that the poor billionaire super celebrity has any cause to whine. After all, most of his relatives and his closest friends were fully aware of his new role and were supportive. For William, however, the life that he lost was not one of their associations. It was his life before his internal trauma-based program became fully activated. Once it was switched on, his life beyond his work largely ended. Although he worked to maintain that playful element, such as while playing his Viv Stanchel role. Ooh, love Vivian Stanchel. He could never fully return to his authentic, peaceful nature. However, he plays. His work program always runs in the background. Wow. They programmed him. It is just nuts. Oh, goodness. By understanding William's position, we better understand countless others. William is not alone. For the elite to carry out their global agenda, they have many children traumatically programmed to eventually step into key positions. The entertainment industry's power to shape opinions makes its celebrity control especially important. Replacing them with programmed workers may be the most effective way to govern the masses. Understanding how replacements qualify for celebrity roles should stir compassion for all those whose lives are set that way. Yes, they are not robots or clones. They are individuals with their own personal struggles. Just as we would not judge the soldiers with PTSD, it's unfair to be overly critical of those who act according to the ritualistic, trauma-based programming. By breakthroughs developed through extensive experimentation, mind control programming is scientifically designed to be extremely difficult to break. It is just, wow, guys. Right there, I wanted to highlight this paragraph because I talked about the MK Ultra mind control programming, and it's true. They even program serial killers, and that's something that I'm going to get more into with you guys. Introduce you to a man if you haven't already been introduced to him. His name is Dave McGowan. And he wrote a fantastic book on the connection between serial killers, the military-industrial complex, and programming. Most all serial killers have some sort of military background. And the military is where they are programmed. And it's true. My brother was a Marine. He is a Marine, or he is discharged and retired or whatnot. But he told me he went out to California to do like reconnaissance training. And he came back after doing it, and he told me that they just want you to be a robot. They want you to just kill, to be a killing machine, to just become something that is not you or your personality or, your morals. They train these guys to kill, programmed to kill. And that's the name of his book. And it is amazing. And I highly recommend that you guys go check it out, because I will do a video on that book. There's also another fantastic YouTube channel out there called lolfieldandlove. And I'll put his link in the description. I have watched his videos for about 6 years now. He's been doing these videos. His name's Patrick. He's been doing them for about 13, 14 years. So there's a lot of them, and they kind of carry on the explanations of these serial killers and their connections and their stories. And it's not to glorify them, it's to expose the truth that they too were traumatically programmed. And in turn, that program was set for them to kill and to carry out these things. And it's also said too that some of them are the fall men for larger elite circles of people who are into horrendous, horrible things to get their rock their socks off. And it's just horrendous what these people do. And again, just like the end of that footnote, yeah, having some empathy for what those people go through is definitely something to keep in mind, guys. And like I said, I sympathize with Billy. I really do. And especially because, yes, he wants everybody to know that he's the best Paul McCartney. He is. He's been Paul McCartney longer than the real Paul McCartney was Paul McCartney. Oh, wow, that's a conundrum right there. Wow. Okay, so anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Those were the 3 footnotes I wanted to go over, and they highlight the programming and they highly program and train elite people, certain people, to fulfill positions in society so they can be influential, to change the course of where society's going, our global consciousness, to get us to be one world. And, it's not conspiracy theory. It is happening right before our eyes. And you just need to open your eyes to realize it and start educating yourself. So, anyways, guys, that's all I have for tonight. I really hope that you have a wonderful week and a very happy Thanksgiving. I will probably try to put something out before Thanksgiving. I will definitely be putting stuff out during the Thanksgiving weekend because I'll have more time to do it with the holiday break. So anyways, guys, I will check you later. It's been real and it's been swell. Bye.